Bob Iger may be losing control of the Walt Disney Company and its future. What are we talking about? Well, James Gorman has been brought in to select the next CEO of Disney. Now there's a delay, and there's a report that Gorman is looking outside the company to pick who will be the next person to lead Mickey Mouse. Folks, it gets even more interesting. You know how much Bob Iger hates Elon Musk? You know how Musk is funding a lawsuit against Disney? Well, James Gorman loves Elon.
Elon Musk is one of the greatest entrepreneurs and business people, in the last century. And that's not an exaggeration. Look what he did. Just take the Boring Company alone, let alone SpaceX, let alone Tesla. I mean, this person has extraordinary capabilities. Elon Musk.
Hello, folks, and happy day all across this beautiful country and the globe. The little blue marble continues to spin, and we love spinning right along with you. Today, our job is to not spin, at least when it comes to telling you the entertainment analysis as accurately as you can ever find anywhere on the web. Jonas J. Campbell, investigative reporter for That Park Place and ThatParkPlace.com, joins us this morning. Jonas, how are you, sir?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm doing better than Bob Iger seems to be doing, because I know what I'm supposed to be doing today, and I can do it.
That's right, folks. We know what you're supposed to be doing today. At least we would implore you. We adore you, especially when you click that like button. Jonas, we've been covering some interesting stuff, and for those who want to understand really the inner workings of Disney, this is the video for them. So, Jonas, we have been watching as Bob Iger has taken this company, Disney, and put it into a very partisan position. And now there is some indication that might be falling apart. One of the political positions that Iger definitively put Disney into was taking a hardline stance against Elon Musk, to the point of pulling advertising off of Twitter/X after Elon bought it. And the reasons, well, they seem to be a bit dubious. I want to pull up the original Bob Iger interview. And folks, this is going to matter as we get into what's happening with selecting the next CEO of the company. It looks like Bob Iger is losing control of that process. We'll show you why. But here, first, is his take on Elon. Here we go.
You are aware of Elon Musk and what he's continues to say, or at least post on his X platform. How do you approach that? Somebody who's got such a big microphone as Musk kind of coming after you all the time.
I ignore it.
You do?
Yeah. It's just there's no relevance to the Walt Disney Company or to me.
So when he says I would, buy shares if Peltz was on the board, and
Next subject.
Comes after you as being.
Now, Jonas, this is out of CNBC. The reason Iger is responding to this is because Iger had originally insulted Elon in front of all of the billionaire peers of the world, right to Elon's face. Your thoughts on this one before we play what Elon's response was, Jonas?
Well, look at that smile right there. That was the smile of afterthought. If you go closer to the beginning of the video and Bob Iger's face there, you can tell he really does not want to be answering that question. I think he's trying.
Am I good at selecting the frame, or am I good at selecting the frame, Jonas?
I do think you are. I think eventually he started to realize how his face was looking. He's not as good at hiding his body language as I think he thinks that he is. Elon Musk is formidable and also has a sense of humor, which is something that I don't think that someone like Bob Iger is capable of dealing with. He's not really great at dealing with people who consider themselves, who maybe should consider themselves above Iger's weight class as far as influence.
So continuing with CNBC, let's see what it was that Musk had said that had Iger responding this way. And again, remember that Musk was responding to Iger in the first place because Iger pulled the advertising off of X and all of this stuff, and it was dubious at best while he was doing so. Here's the original strike across the bow against Bob Iger.
What was that trip like? And obviously, you know that there's a public perception that, and you're clarifying this now, but there's a public perception that that was part of a apology tour, if you will. That this had been said online. There was all of the criticism. There was advertisers leaving. We talked to Bob Iger today.
I hope they stop.
You hope?
Don't advertise.
You don't want them to advertise?
No.
What do you mean?
If somebody's going to try to blackmail me with advertising, blackmail me with money.
Are we about to play this? There we go.
You got nervous.
But go yourself. Is that clear?
And so he's talking directly to Bob Iger. He, in fact, later on, Jonas, would look out in the audience and say, "Oh, hi, Bob," directly taking a shot. Well, Jonas, things are getting interesting now because Bob Iger is looking for someone to replace him. But it turns out it might not be Bob who's doing the looking anymore. So, Jonas, if you wouldn't mind, let's pull up the article that is so fascinating. And then, folks, get ready to have your mind just absolutely blown away with who is picking the next CEO and what he has to say about Elon. Jonas, take it away.
Right. Well, for those of you who are not aware, Wall Street veteran leading Disney's search for Iger's replacement. This is James Gorman, formerly the head of Morgan Stanley. Depending on how you define the head of Morgan Stanley, he's currently the executive chair over there. He used to be the CEO and mounted a significant search process to find the next CEO of Morgan Stanley. In the 3 internal candidates that they had, 2 of them stayed on and one of them was promoted to the CEO position. It's an excellent article out of the Wall Street Journal doing a profile on Gorman and talking
Jonathan,
about.
you get ready to go into this article. I want to get your thought on this first, and that is Gorman was brought into Disney after Disney already appeared to have their future CEOs lined up.
That's true. That's very true.
Interesting that he was brought in at the end of the process and then took over the process.
Right, because Bob Iger said that when he returned to the company, his primary focus was on finding his successor again. Right, it's a Bob job. Apparently job. There was no second person on the list after Bob Chapek was exited from the company. Apparently, that exhaustive search yielded half a name. Apparently, one of them being Bob Iger's name with the Iger cut off and Chapek replaced. That's how thorough they were in their search for a new CEO in the previous iteration, and no one left in the Rolodex to call after that. So much that, so that here we are, almost Halloween of 2024, and they have now pushed back the announcement of a CEO to 2026. So now we have James Gorman coming here. Morgan Stanley is a very large bank, and some would define it as an investment bank. So they study businesses for a living. They provide funding. They hold other people's money. I'm defining a bank, which is something that pretty much everyone who watches this channel should understand what that is. But James Gorman sat at the top of a multinational global bank that vets the people that they work with in a constant process. So the former Morgan Stanley chief executive is set to become chairman of the Disney board in January, charged with executing a smooth and lasting transition to a new leadership regime while righting past wrongs of a board that critics view as too deferential to Bob Iger. Depending on who is writing the article, it could say that Bob Iger is searching for his replacement. Now we're starting to see a shift to it saying that James Gorman is choosing that replacement, and right, he should be the one.
The job has been lobbed to somebody else, and now it's going to take longer than anticipated.
Right, and that might make Bob sob. But in this particular case, we have 4 internal candidates that there's been commentary on who's in the lead, and most people thinking it's probably Dana Walden through a process of both default and the fact that Bob Iger really likes to look at people based on their immutable characteristics. The next option would be Josh D'Amaro, who is the head of the Parks Division, which is the highest revenue generator for the company, has consistently been the highest revenue generator for the company, 2020 notwithstanding. There is a big headline in this that is pushed way down, however, and we're going to get to that in a second.
What does it say?
I'm going to jump ahead right here. The board has hired Heydrich and Struggles to lead the search for external candidates, some of the people have said. So
now Jonas, so this is really cool because this is something that you have been surmising for a while, is that James Gorman was coming in because the internal candidates were not up to snuff, as has been said at some points. So this seems to be suggesting the same. if the internal candidates were sufficient, they would not be having to go external. Gorman may be there specifically to go external, and that may be the cause of the delay.
Right. If that board was deferential to Bob Iger, and Bob Iger wanted to pick someone from within this company, this giant company that he has now created with the acquisition of Fox, of course, notwithstanding the acquisition of Pixar, Lucasfilm. There's another one in there that I'm forgetting. Oh, Marvel. That's right. And he wanted to say that he had created a company that could promote from within, but he also doesn't seem to like those Disney diehards within the company either. So he's essentially created a company that either drives out people that are capable of being the CEO of the company, or cannot promote anyone from one of their divisions into this role because it's just grown too much. Now, they've not grown financially. They have grown in size, though, which is an amazing feat.
Jonas, we have some indications. We'll come back to this article if it so warrants. But we've got some indications from sources that we have, as well as third parties, that the new man in charge of selecting the next CEO of the Disney company, James P. Gorman, that he and Bob Iger might not be on the same side of things when it comes to what they're looking for. And so this was sent to us by a source, and we were told, hey, you really, really need to look at this. And we really, really appreciate it, because it turns out it's true.
I agree. Looking at what James Gorman is up to here, and the fact that he is a person who money is agnostic of your feelings about money. And Morgan Stanley, which it will never not be funny to me that the head of Morgan Stanley, whose main competition is JP Morgan, that the head of Morgan Stanley is JP Gorman, as if they've mispronounced JP Morgan.
That's a good one.
James Gorman is a...
Let me read it real quick, and then let's get your thoughts. It says, Elon Musk is one of the greatest entrepreneurs and business people in the last century. Just take the Boring Company alone, let alone SpaceX, let alone Tesla. This person has extraordinary capabilities. James Gorman. Now, by the way, he's saying this in the not so distant past, and there may actually be some overlap. And that cannot be music to Bob Iger's ears. Excuse me. What might also not be music to Bob Iger's ears is that we have the audio. Here we go.
Elon Musk is one of the greatest entrepreneurs and business people, in the last century, and that's not an exaggeration. Look what he did. Just take the Boring Company alone, let alone SpaceX, let alone Tesla. I mean, this person has extraordinary capabilities. Elon Musk.
All right, Jonas. So we've got the head of the selection for the new CEO spot at Disney, who takes a drastically different opposing opinion when it comes to the world's richest man, who is also the world's biggest adversary to Bob Iger, the guy who is leading the legal charge financing the Gina Carano lawsuit. Gorman loves him. Gorman loves him, Jonas, and he's picking the next person to lead Disney.
Well, he makes money. What's not to love? If Morgan Stanley has invested in Tesla or SpaceX or the Boring Company, they've had a return on their investment. Maybe not with X, but that one I don't know if they were included in the take private initiative there. Also, I want to point out that this isn't him apologizing when asked, well, what's the problem with Elon Musk? He seems to be here volunteering with a smile on his face that Elon is a great businessman. And it's very hard to argue once you get away from some of the rhetoric and some of the politics that we're all looking forward to not talking about in a few weeks. It seems that it's very hard to deny that Elon Musk has made incredible contributions monetarily and to technology. So the idea that he doesn't know what he's doing in business, I think, is it seems to be people having trouble reading his moves as opposed to him actually failing.
That's right. And you might anticipate that someone who's going to be selecting the next CEO of Disney would be more aligned with what Bob thinks. The fact that Gorman has been brought in and so swiftly put at the top of the board, Jonas, I think that Wall Street is attempting to wrangle back control, and I think that they've lost their admiration for the mousy messiah. I'm not sure that they believe in Bob anymore, and now it's going to Mr. Gorman. He's the one who's going to be selecting the future of Disney, not Iger. I think also at this point we can presume with some level of confidence that Dana Walden is not any longer a front runner, and that may have to do with the politics, which you have talked about, which, yes, I agree. I look forward to hopefully a future that has less politics and entertainment, and then we'll have a much easier time because we don't really like being pulled into politics, but when they overlap with entertainment, then we're forced to do so. Jonas, here's something I want to clarify, though, for the audience. We are not in any way suggesting, lest anyone say that that this video is doing so, we're not suggesting that Elon Musk is going to come in as the CEO of Disney. We're not suggesting that Elon Musk is going to become, a dominant shareholder in Disney. What we are suggesting is that clearly, when it comes to the view of Elon Musk, who he is, how he runs his companies, and then more broadly, the political spectrum surrounding Elon Musk, the man picking the future of Disney does not agree with the man of Disney's past. And at this point, perhaps Bob Iger truly is a man of Disney's past. Jonas, I'll give you the final word.
No, I totally agree with you, and thank you for bringing that up. That's something that I often bring up. I don't think that Elon Musk is capable of running the Disney company as good as he is with engineering based models and problem solving based models. Creativity is not a problem solving based model. Even though Bob Iger has claimed that his personal touch is what makes Disney movies special at this point.
I'll take a different view, Jonas. So what I'll say, and don't mean to steal your final word, I don't know if Elon could run Disney or not. I don't think he wants to run Disney. I don't think anybody with the right mind would want to come in and deal with Lucasfilm. I don't think anybody with the right mindset wants to come in and have to deal with the DEI and the anti-meritocratic individuals inside Disney Animation. It is a mess, and you are going to be unpopular. It's why they're doing the artificial intelligence stuff, because the creatives have gone cuckoo, and they've got to start getting rid of those people and replacing them, or just going to robots, folks. I know, but I don't think it's an enviable job. I would not want to be the head of Disney. You're going to have to do what they did at Twitter. You're going to have to get rid of, at least in the creative side of things, 50% of the workforce, and replace them with people who actually want to make entertainment that appeals to the vast majority of demographics.
I'm actually going to disagree with you here. I don't think that Elon Musk is capable of running the entire Disney Disney company, but I do think he's probably capable of running Lucasfilm.
Well, I mean, anybody could run Lucasfilm better than it's being run, but I don't know that anybody wants to have a hand in it. Jonas, why do you say that, though? What's your point here? Why do you think?
Because Lucasfilm at this point is a single property studio, whether or not they want to admit it, and the technology side of Lucasfilm is truly enviable. It's the thing that continues to function regardless. And hiring other people to do Star Wars, well, we haven't had a Star Wars film since 2019. And if you could just tell Jon Favreau to keep making The Mandalorian, that's not a difficult phone call to make. And it's going to be 2026 before we see another Star Wars film in theaters. So I think he could do better there.
He probably could at least get the Rey movie done, and that seems to be beyond the abilities of Kathleen Kennedy. All right, folks, that is the video for today. We hope you have had a good time, and now, having watched this, you understand what's going on at Disney in a way that no one else does until they watch this video, because nobody is really covering this angle. The fact that Bob Iger has been pushed to the side, Wall Street putting in somebody who mostly agrees, apparently, with Elon Musk to pick how the company is going to go in the future. It is a fascinating change. We want to thank our sources for reaching out and for giving us the insight and this audio that we would otherwise not have received. Jonas, we're also doing some crazy things here on these channels, and they're crazy good. We're doing more videos here on the Pro Channel 4 times a day now, 8:30 a.m., 11:30 a.m., 3:30 p.m., and 8:30 p.m. every single day Eastern Time. And that Park Place, well, you guys and the Pro Show Live, you've switched to twice a week for live shows. So, Jonas, Tell folks out there about Morning Magic.
That's right. Every morning, every Tuesday and Thursday morning at 11 a.m., we are going through a quick run through all the events that matter to our viewers here. This Tuesday, we talked about Victoria Alonso and her threat to come back. If you don't know who that is, well, just go check out the video. Of course, there's a video over on That Park Place that will be dropping soon talking about this search for external candidates. You can check that out. And of course, Morning Magic will be back on Thursday. There is a $10.5 billion difference in what Disney promised their investors they would be spending on content and what a new research study says they actually spent on content in 2024. So come find out why it's $10 billion off, maybe actually $15 billion off on Thursday.
$15 billion off sounds spooky to me, Jonas. And that's just the kind of spooky we're going to be going over as well on the Pro Show Live this Halloween. Join us at noon Eastern and check out all the folks in the costumes, the fun, the analysis you just can't miss. Folks, until the next time, we have the time to spend time with you, which is a joy as always. We bid you adieu with this. Keep learning, keep growing, and as always, keep having fun.
I'm the ghost of Star Wars.
You know what would be a real treat this Halloween? Checking out WDW Pro. He's got all the sweet news on his Thursday live show at 5 p.m. Eastern.
Not to mention, his daily videos are a real treat.
Guys, I'm the ghost of Star Wars. Get it?
You know, we should go and make sure we're subscribed.
Guys, I'm the ghost of Star Wars.
And while we're at it, we'll ring that bell to make sure we're notified.
Great, let's go. Because, well, we actually care about that. Let's go.
Fact. Star Wars is not dead. It's haunting the staffs of Disney Plus.